Okay, everybody, we're going to go through some things point by point. That I'm going for lunch. It's a test day for me. It's been wham bam, thank you, ma'am, since the moment I got up, and I've been scrambling all day. I don't have the time because, again, it's test day. It's my job. So I'm going to hit this, then I'm going to go get something to eat, get back to testing, and that's it. So overnight last night, a Canadian framing Canada the 51st state, our group, the whole movement, made a fake Donald J. Trump Truth Social post claiming to be the President of the United States. Absolute fraud. Was never posted by Trump, wasn't deleted by Trump, not real. A Canadian did that. I call them Decepticons. These are conservatives in the autocracy side. Republicans smelt it out. I got tagged by Americans. More than that, I got invited to an X space here in between my tests. Briefly got in there to listen. They're trying to get me up on stage to talk from Canada. Our feed got cut, group cut off, so that sucks. So there's a lot going on being Canadian today, especially leading Canada the 51st state. Not good. There's a whole bunch of Oxford AI renditions coming through that are not accurately, like completely falsifying what I've said on videos. So when people are too lazy to watch the videos and they go for the AI shortcut to what was said, it's coming up as a false rendition. In fact, framing me as accusing the United States of doing things or threatening my life, which is not true. There is absolutely no threats from the United States over me. I've never said that. I've only spoken highly of the United States. Both truth and facts, explosive facts all week on both Republicans and Democrats pro what I talk about and over a long period of time. Completely contrary to media, completely contrary to our crown here in Canada. Both conservatives and liberals in a uniparty. These are facts. And it's getting really scary. I'm under investigation by CSIS, our Canadian version of CIA, not Washington, D.C.'s CSIS that I presented yesterday. That's a Democrat institution founded in the Cold War by President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. I've been following them for a very long time, in fact 10 years. So there's a lot of groups I'm in all over the U.S. I've been trained in massive academic institutions. It's been glorious. I have nothing but admiration and respect for Americans across the board. Better Angels is a beautiful thing to get involved with if you can as a Canadian. I know in first person in states you can hook up with them. They'll invite you to their groups. I brought Rob Tavoni. He got to see how Democrats and Republicans, we the people at the state level, just regular Americans, interact. Nothing like Canada and Canadians. Not at all. The hate of Canadians. You couldn't bring people in a room together like that. Americans do that outside their government. They really run their government. And when you see them at the state level, where their sovereignty is, where more powers than the federal government of the United States, President Trump, the federal Congress, the federal Senate could ever imagine, it's there at the state level amongst regular, everyday Americans. I was just invited into one of those Republican spaces. I published a truth for all of you. Yes, late last night, Congress, in majority, passed the new voting system bill. And it's going to go to Senate, get bounced back, but majority Republicans and Democrats. As for tariffs against Canada, yes, the Congress went the other way. But guess what? Trump has a veto. It's ineffectual. Even when Republicans backstabbed the president. Wasn't any kind of major majority, a slight majority. Nonetheless, they lost. Trump lost. But Trump holds the veto on this bill for Canada. Trump doesn't want it, he just vetoes it. That's what I shared last night from the Save America Rally 2021, where if you watch that, none of the Q bullshit, none of that, I'm none of that. Not Canadian Christian Heritage Party, none of that shit, everybody. I'm talking to you from what Donald J. Trump said he was going to do in 2021 on that stage with his veto, and that's what he's going to do to Congress and Senate, regardless of what they do. But it's probably going to be for naught, because by the time they go through all that to get it done and then put it on Trump's desk, and Trump says, nope, veto, you're already going to see the majority of Americans move with the job tax cuts bill, the one big beautiful bill. What happens to Americans post April 15th is they're all getting massive tax returns. They're supposed to be credited that all year, but businesses weren't imposed with that. They certainly didn't have anything before July of 2025. It came after that. And businesses were not mandated to reciprocate anything for any of the American workers. This is all American workers. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. I can promise you at the state level, Canadians, you have no idea. Every American, when they go to do their taxes, here April 15th is the due date for their taxes, and they submit and they go through and they submit their overtime. They're going to finally move tax brackets. They get a whole bunch of new credits that weren't available before, new brackets of income added to non-taxable income off the hop, massive ones, $12,500 if you're single, $25,000 if you're married. It's huge. No interest on cars, $10,000. Huge, huge. Americans are looking at massive money, starting at about $47,000 and all the way up to $59,000 that would be in the 22% tax. If they worked overtime at the $12,500, they get reversed back to 10% tax bracket. This goes all the way up through the tax brackets. 100 million plus Americans are about to find out there's a mass amount of money waiting for them at tax time. Independent of tariffs and all of that, they haven't put that money that they were supposed to save as of January last year, according to that legislation, because businesses didn't put it in. And why would they? It wasn't in law. When it came into law, the law says you have to enact it starting January 2026. So Americans are seeing little savings, probably griping right now, but they don't understand they're getting massive tax returns this filing. And once Democrats and Republicans see that, and all over 65 who worked Americans, which is a mass majority, when you feed that in AI, it's supermajority Congress, not necessarily supermajority Senate, because Senate isn't going to be an entire midterm thing. It's 1/3 Senate that's 2/3 portioned Democrats. So they literally, or sorry, Republican already. So the seats that are available in midterms, only 12 of them are 13 are Democrat, and only 12 Republicans would have to win 12. It's statistically not possible, even with the one big beautiful bill, but very close nonetheless. It still puts them in a bigger Senate majority than they have now, but probably a super congressional majority, meaning the 65%, meaning major legislation. And with what we just saw with the voting bill that went last night, folks, it's going to end all cheating in all elections. It's the opposite of what Canada is. And this is why I'm getting hit really hard. And I think why everything's happening is because I'm facing a coming prosecution very quickly. And the narratives show I'm being erased from anything to do with legal international law and parental rights, especially exposing the conservative lie of Canada, the Decepticons, I call them. That's the only name I can come up with. You can't say woke conservative. No one will understand that, especially in the face of religious belief, right? But it's an autocratic version, just like woke, way up in the other quadrant. Americans are woke to that. They're also awakened to the Decepticon that I'm talking about. Nobody's named it yet. I just invented that name after this morning because it makes sense. And when I showcase the history of Transformers from Imperial Japan, who went through number 2 Nuremberg trials, 1,500 Japanese politicians and soldiers put to death by the Allies by 1949. After Nuremberg won against Germany, they proceeded with Japan, and they've continued on 83 times in total since World War II, all the way up till today. Canadians don't know this. Your government would never teach you that. But what the Japanese articulate after dismemberment and redesign in their new imposed constitution, their new republic democracy, and the birth of Transformers out of the 50s, the toys and the story that Americans love too and made the American transformation into that toy and that brand, is because that's the results of dismemberment and redesign of socialist and fascist Imperial Japan, designed entirely like Canada is and always has been till today. And that's where I get the Decepticon. I'll go into more of that story. But anyways, folks, I want to go have my lunch. I have testing to do. We'll talk later. Get this one shared out. It's huge. I'm going to have to really watch AI. I'm being targeted pretty hard to defame, discredit that post that even names Canada the 51st state right in there in a fraudulent presidential post by a fraudulent Canadian is terrible. It's terrible. And it's to frame and debase us. So I had it removed. No, I'm not bringing it back to show you all. Just take my word for it. That happened in the wee hours of the morning. And I've removed it. Talk to people who are sharing it. Nobody's bad here. You just got to be diligent. You can't trust any sources. If it says it's Donald J. Trump's Truth Social, go to Truth Social. Make sure it's real. Anything, make sure that's what the president said. And you have him in a video that he's produced, not some AI spin-off. Got to watch it. I'm getting attacked extremely hard. We are too. Our crown is scared. And when you get an animal cornered, and they're the animals, look out. We're in danger. And I don't mean my life. I'm going to be assassinated, although that might be possible, 1%, but 99% is probably the coming prosecution in their kangaroo court over the spoiled ballot. And that's coming up. I know that's coming quick. So that's reality. And there's a lot of evil going on right now. It is pretty hectic, and it sucks. I hate to have to chase these things. But we all have to be very, very diligent, because a lot of things are nefarious. And I know where it comes from. God bless. Love you all. Share. Get it out there. Bye now.